when you work with using this funding methodology, do you not need any investor at all? Like, how does that work?
Well, again, depending on what methodology you're employing, with the case of working with Chris for the SBA,
Mm-hmm.
we don't need an investor per se. And maybe can I back up for just a moment and sort of talk about investment overall?
Yeah, okay.
There are three basic types. If you're going to get a film funded, there's three basic types of funding or financing. There's debt financing, which is through a traditional bank like Bank of California, City National Bank, whatever bank has an entertainment division. That's the sort of methodology that's tried and true of funding films. The second method is deficit financing, which would be going to a streaming service or a subscription service like Amazon or Hulu, or a network or cable like HBO, and saying, hey, we've got this project. They will give you, for television, a 8 to 10 order episode order. You will bank that paper, take it to a finance organization, and they will use that as collateral to fund your film. The third way is private equity, which everybody thinks they want until they actually have to deal with it. And I know Chris is sort of nodding because he's been there as well as I have.
Mm-hmm.
When you're using that private equity, as you said, Nancy, the interest is usurious. It can be 50%. In fact, I've done numerous 50%.
Well, it's not really, usually if it's equity, it's not interest, but you have to give them 50% of your profits, no matter how much they are.
And
right?
You have to give them their money back plus a VIG. Is that the best way to put it, Chris?
Yeah.
So they'll want 10, 20% of their recoupment of investment plus that 20% before any other profits are shared, and then they get 20 to 50%. With the SBA, and Chris, I'm going to let you sort of go into the details of that, but with the SBA, when you're looking at financing, you don't need an investor. You do need a guarantor, which I'll leave Chris to explain that, but you don't need any investment group. You don't really need, the only money up front that you need to get that moving is to make sure that you have all the requirements that the bank is going to need to agree to finance that. And that is, as everybody who's dealt with this, there's two bookends. One is collateral, which is a distribution sales agreement with minimum sales guarantees. The other is risk mitigation. And your risk mitigation falls under things like analytics, falls under having an audience built through social media or through other methodologies, having all of your legal documents in place, having your LLC or your limited liability company in order for details that you need, so that when a bank looks at that, they're going to go, okay, check, 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 you meet that. So to answer your question, no, you don't need an actual investor. You do need, under the SBA program, which I think is germane to this conversation, a guarantor. And I'm going to turn that over to Chris at that point.